Yeah, I think, in general, if you look at attrition, if you talk about probably where it hits us the hardest is, the guys we lost, obviously, in the offensive line. We've had that happen before with Connor Williams and Connor McGovern. These are guys that we picked, and then you plug them in, and they play, and then they get awarded a great contract. Unfortunately, you can't, have more than one, a couple offensive linemen that make a lot of money on your offensive line, and you certainly, want those young guys coming. So whether it's the three guys we've picked the last three drafts, Ball and certainly Awesome Richards and Waletzko, TJ Bass, all those guys are, it's time for them to step up. Obviously, TJ played a lot last year, and we really liked what we saw there.
Okay, obviously, I feel like it's safe to say across the board, this is one of the most difficult drafts to be able to predict, man. I know the draft is right around the corner. It's tomorrow. It's one day away. And we still don't have a clue on exactly what we might do in this draft. We have so many needs that we can really do anything. We can go corner, we can go receiver, we can go edge, we can go center, tackle, we can go linebacker, running back. It's a whole lot of holes and voids to fill on this football team with not enough draft picks. And you add the fact that we don't have a fourth because Jared went and got Trey Lance. So now you want to try to hit those first three picks with a home run. Like, those first three picks need to be starters. It's no question about it. So we got to be real precise with it. I feel like we should go BPA, but who knows what direction the Cowboys going to go. And it feels like, it's just an eerie feeling these days, man. Like, you can hear what Stephen Jones just said. All the young players need to step up. Like, he don't care about nobody in free agency. He just named people that only he would name. He's the only human being I heard in Dallas that names Josh Ball and Matt Waletzko as real-life depth on his football team. They haven't done anything to even get their name called in the interview, but for some reason, Stephen Jones is still holding on for dear life to the possibility of them being real NFL players. But it's obvious that the hubris of us having all of this success, getting these UDFAs and being real cheap has finally came back to bite us in our behind. Will McClay is going to be a victim of his own success. I don't think this is sustainable, but this is the way that the Cowboys want to attack this. And it seems like they standing pat. It seems like they all in, like Jerry says, but they all in on their UDFAs and they plan that they made for the future. And you can tell this is something they've been brewing up on for a couple of years, like they go on to say, because they looking at some of these players in this position to just step right in and be starters. He's saying Josh Ball, Matt Waletzko, Awesome Richards. Now, it's yet to be seen is they confident enough for them to be actual starters. We'll find out day one of the draft. That'll tell us a whole lot. But my question is, are you so confident that you won't draft an O-lineman? That would be very interesting to me because I want to see if we can get us a wide receiver. I'm still team load the clip. I'm still wide receiver. Gang.
And then, of course, the running back situation is one, that we're continue to address, and obviously we will look at it in the draft, but also looking at, Pollard in terms of replacing losing him. We've got to work through that, but those are all things that require young people to step up, and we've had a good track record. As I mentioned, Connor Williams, Connor McGovern stepping up. Obviously, Tolbert, it took him a year, but stepped up and played really well, and I think he'll take it to another level this year.
Then, he goes on to talk about us replacing Tony Pollard, which will be something different because, Tony is a starter. He's a starting caliber running back, and now we don't have one. They picked up Royce Freeman. He was a free agent. He played last at the Rams. And we got Snoop Connor, we got Rico Dowdle, and then we got Deuce Vaughn. So that running back room definitely need to be addressed. It is really no starting caliber running backs in the room. So he said, of course, we're going to look at that in the draft. So we are already sure that they are going to draft a running back, hopefully higher than the 6th round like they did last year. But some was really interesting how he brought up Jalen Tolbert. He mentioned Tolbert's name a couple of times. So it seems like Jalen Tolbert is in their plans. He's in the plans for the future. He did take a big step from his first year to the next year, and hopefully he can step up even more, just like Stephen Jones says. So I believe in Toe, but I got high hopes for him. You know, friend of the show, so we really rooting for him. But I just want to ask the question, do you look at him as a future number 2 wide receiver? Is that the way y'all projecting him, or is he going to still be in the slot for the remainder of his career? Is he going to be a slot receiver? Because that's my question, because we know Brandon Cook's contract ends next year. So we need to have a wide receiver solution for the future. And no better draft that we done seen in a while other than this draft to get us a receiver. You can get one first round, second round, or third round, really. But, you know, my preference is to get one early. That's where the cream of the crop is. And at that point, you can have you another outside receiver and have Jalen Tobin in the slot. That'll be your wide receiving core for the future without Brandon Cooks.
But the question is, in my mind, about all of this, how do we feel about where we've been in this free agency? We feel great about what we've been in free agency. All in. All in. All in. We're all in with these young guys coming up. And we're all in with this draft. And we're very proud of our personnel, very proud of this roster. Very much think this roster, without knowing right now how much the rookies are going to contribute, we're very, very feel good about the promise of the team that we're going to have this year with this roster. And I do, principally because of what Steven said. We will have young players step up, no names that become names, because names have left and are off the roster, and so those guys have got to step up. You cannot play and run a team in the NFL without counting on this dynamic going on. And so we do feel good about these guys coming in.
So, you know, I spoke about the hubris that this football team has earlier, how much confidence they have in their scouting process and how they go about team building and drafting players and all of this draft and develop. They double down on draft and develop. We already know that. So, you know, this kind of shows you how confident they act like they are in these players. And when he says something like that, saying that he's not concerned, basically without any type of contribution from any other drafted players, he feels confident in the roster that he has right now. I really think that's a mistake, but now let's talk about it. Let's try to see exactly what he means. This right here tells me that the areas of need, think about it. He said without the draft. So now we think about the needs that we have on this football team. He's saying that the depth on this team, he's confident in. So the needs we have at defensive tackle, we know that we got Mozzie Smith. I guess he's saying he's confident in Mozzie Smith stepping up this year. Junior Feihoku, he's confident in him this year. I guess he's saying Chauncey Golston, he's confident in him this year. You know, these are defensive tackle people that could help out, could be rotational people, but I wouldn't bet my money on them. But I guess Jerry and them, they willing to push the chips in for those type of players. Sam Williams would be another person they pushing the chips in. I agree on that one. Losing Dorrance and Dante, you know, I still feel like that boy Slam Williams will be able to step up and have a double-digit year. I'm high on Sam. I'm very bullish on Mr. Slam Williams. Receiving core, I guess he's putting the house on Jalen Tolbert. And like I said, I'm hopeful for Tolbert. I feel like he can do more with more opportunities, but I just don't know how much more. I'm not too sure because I haven't seen it. But these are the people that they betting on. So, hey, hopefully Jalen Tolbert can come out here and ball out and be a great number 3. The O-line, that means he's betting on Josh Ball, Matt Waletzko, the names that he's been naming. I guess he's betting on these guys to be formidable backups. TJ Bass, all these guys should be able to step right in and just assume the role, just fulfill the role. I think that's very, very delusional. I don't know what the odds is of these players just stepping right in and be formidable starters. I really think that, you know, that's their hubris. That's them being overly confident in what they got and how they scout. Because what's the odds of all these things going right? even if half of them go right and half of them go wrong, you still in a bad situation because you counting on these UDFAs and second-year players and rookies and late-round picks. You count on them to be able to be taking a big step from being not on the field to being an actual good starter in some critical positions, and I just think that's a mistake. I think that we've been using this cheap mentality for far too long, and now all of this stuff is just coming back to bite us. It's coming back. Karma is a you-know-what, and I just think us being cheap all these years is just finally coming back, man. We really just can't build our roster this way and think that we'll be successful on a long-term basis. This is just not sustainable. But it looks like the Cowboys just wild enough and crazy and wacky enough to try it anyway. So this is what we got going on. But hopefully we can get some good things happen in the draft, some great players to come in, day one impact type players that can drastically change the outlook on this team for 2024, and hopefully we can become some competitors again. We got a good core, but we definitely got some positions that we need to fill and really help this team get back into shape. But that's all I got for you today, man. Just holler at your boy, Landlord from Alabama, with the same handle on all social media. And like I say, 1K, 1 love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.